So for those who are not living in the UK, what I'm about to tell you will sound pretty shocking. In fact, I would even refine the word UK to England. There's been a movement in recent weeks in England and across the UK to start putting up the English and British flags on the streets and just hang them onto lampposts, as you can see here, and the news have been reporting on it, and I'm sure if you search it, you'll find people talking about it. And the reason why this is happening, it's multifaceted, but it's primarily, I think, because many British people are feeling there has been a gradual dilution of British culture, values, identity, a sense of something that we all have collectively in common. It's also a response to levels of immigration that people feel are perhaps changing communities and cultures at a pace that is too quick and potentially leading to cultural and communal disintegration. And I think it's more just a sense of people feeling like they don't have something that gives them a sense of identity, meaning, just feeling almost like a global citizen and not part of any meaningful communal and national identity that every human being needs. And I want to get into that in more detail now, because the reason why I say you'll find this surprising is because there has been pushback, a lot of pushback from people on more progressive ends of British society, where they will say that this is the flag is frankly just racist and far right. Now, I know there are debates between progressive and conservative across the West. We know that exists. But what I think people find so shocking is that the very flag itself of Britain and England is deemed to be racist for waving it. It's deemed to be far right. I don't know where else that exists across the Western world. That's how bad it is. In some ways, I would say the hostility to this idea of moderate, genuine, authentic nationalism and desire to have a sense of national identity and not just want to dissolve into a universal, global, metropolitan way of life. I don't think that the pushback, that kind of viewpoint exists any more strongly than it does in Britain and England. And it takes you to an extreme where you say that the flag itself is racist. And people say it's racist because Britain has a bad past, colonial past, all these things. Every single nation's past is mixed, is full of good and bad. And frankly, if you actually look at the broad story of British history, Britain has contributed immensely towards the moral and social and economic and innovation progress of the world and cultural progress of the world. And all the things they lament, from colonization and slavery and all these things, are not uniquely or distinctly British. So many societies and empires and countries have been colonialist, have used slavery. Britain was actually one of the first to say we're going to end the slave trade. But anyway, have a watch of people being asked here about the whole issue of flags, and I want to get into it a little bit more afterwards because I think there is a strong Jewish viewpoint here. Let's have a watch.
It's just pure racism.
It's not a racist thing. We're in England.
It's more of a attack.
It's a marking of territory.
Anything that's not left-wing is far right, which is absolutely stupid.
How do you feel about people putting up England flags in the streets at the moment?
Yeah, it's racist. It's just pure racism.
I know people think it's patriotic and things like that, but I don't particularly get that.
It's a marking of territory, saying we're white, we're here, F you.
It's not a racist thing. We're in England and...
Anyway, you get the idea. You get the sense of what they're saying. There's mixed feelings about this, but it's just... it shows you how ridiculous a point Britain has come to, where simply to say we want to wave the flag of this country is considered far right, considered racist. This is very, very dangerous for society. And I'm going to invoke the name of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks, the late Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, because he wrote a few books that touched on these issues. And I want to explain to you why a sense of national identity and national values that we can all be tied to is not just a nice thing, it's actually pretty important for society. First of all, let's understand that the Torah, which created a model for the Jewish people to embody and to create a nation that would be a light to the nations, teaches us by very fact that it says you should have a national identity, a set of values, things that bring you all together, national holidays, identity, community. All these things tells us that the Torah very much encourages, believes in the idea of a nation state, of a national identity, and that just simply being a universal citizen is the road to ruin. It's the road to total lack of community, identity, meaning. Human beings need that. We need that sense of, I'm contributing to something on a local scale as well as a global scale. We need both the particular as well as the universal. We know this from our own lives. We can't just say, I'm going to love everyone equally. No, we have to, of course we want to care for the world, but you do it in ever-growing concentric circles. Imagine if you got down on one knee to the love of your life and said, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you just as much as that person and that person and that. Love is particular. That's how we express it. That's what human beings need. We need a spouse, family, friends, community, nation, and then world. And it seems that the Torah is very much telling us that's important. You can go to two extremes, by the way, and either extreme is very bad, where it's just me to the exclusion of everyone else. That's also a problem. But everyone to the exclusion of people that are closest to me, also bad. So Rabbi Sachs wrote 2 books. One of them was called The Home We Build Together, where he basically said that if you treat society as a hotel rather than a home, where it's just people coming in and out and they have nothing to do with everyone else, that is the road to ruin. Society needs to be treated as a home. We all have responsibility to one another, and that's part of the problem that many British people are feeling. They're feeling like Britain is being treated as a hotel, with many people coming in and out that don't actually share the values, that don't want to integrate. That doesn't mean full integration to the point that you can't have an identity, but you need to have certain basic values and shared values and willingness to be part of British society. And they feel that that's not exactly happening. And I'm struggling to see why that's not a legitimate concern. Again, this is not about dissolving one's own identity, but it's about saying there's certain things that we all have to agree to and to collectively partner in as a national endeavor. He also wrote a book called The Dignity of Difference, Rabbi Sachs. And this was basically making the argument that for those who think we just need to have equality across the board to the point of, not in terms of equal rights, but in terms of dissolution of national identities, of religious identities, of everything. It's kind of like the communist dream. Everyone should just be equal human global citizens. Everyone no different from anyone else. Sounds lovely, but actually, if we're all precisely the same, then none of us have anything unique to contribute to the world. Rabbi Sachs taught that the Torah's message, that we have different roles, God gives human beings, different nations, different roles, is that actually dignity is found in difference. We're all equally valuable, but we all have a unique role to play. It's like different parts of a car. They're not all the same, but they're all incredibly important to make the car drive. And that's the point. Britain is, I think, starting to have the inevitable pushback against multiculturalism and shaming of a unique British national identity. We first saw it emerge with Brexit, and I think that in and of itself, I'm not making comments about who is putting up these flags, who isn't, all these things, but just the very act of having and celebrating one's national flag is not just a nice thing. I think it's a pretty important thing for society. Before we finish, I just want to share with you something really important. We are told that Israel's actions are the cause of the Israeli-Arab conflict, but we've just released a groundbreaking documentary proving that Arab Islamic Jew hatred far predates Israel's re-establishment. This is a critical fact that everyone needs to learn about. Have a watch of our trailer for our new JTV Plus documentary entitled Arab Anti-Semitism Before Israel's Re-Establishment. Picture yourself, it's 1834 and you're a Jew living in Tzfat, which is a northern city in Israel, then under the Ottoman Empire. Your family is part of this ancient city's spiritual heart for generations. You study Torah, you trade in the market, and live quietly among your Arab neighbours. But one day, a mob storms your street, shouting, "Kill the Jews!" Your home is looted, your synagogue burned, your loved ones beaten. This isn't about Israel. Israel won't exist for 114 years. This isn't about settlements, the IDF, or the 1948 displacements. This is raw, violent hatred aimed at you for being a Jew. And it's not just in Palestine, it's part of a centuries-old story of anti-Semitism woven into Arab and Islamic history, from the dawn of Islam to the streets of Hebron. The claim that this conflict began with Israel's creation, the Nakba, or modern policies, is a farce, a distortion that collapses under history's magnifying glass. Welcome to JTV Plus. I'm Ollie Annisfeld, and today we're uncovering a history too often buried, the relentless anti-Semitism among Arabs in Palestine before 1948, rooted in a broader Arab and Muslim hostility that began with Islam's inception in the 7th century. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.